This is the afternoon weather briefing. This is for Tuesday, the 8th of October. I'm James Spann. All eyes are on Milton in the Gulf, rebounding in strength this afternoon, headed for Tampa Bay late tomorrow night, maybe early Thursday morning. In Alabama's weather, feeling good with a cooler, drier air mass in here today. We'll start with the upper air look, and we've got that big vortex over eastern Canada. And that helped to propel that front through here yesterday, and you can see that it's just clear as could be across Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, Georgia, Tennessee. Of course, we got the high clouds from Milton streaming into parts of South Florida where rain is falling in some spots. That's the closest rain to Alabama. Rain mainly south of Interstate 4 in Florida. Temperatures only in the mid to upper 70s over North Alabama today, despite a totally sunny sky. It feels amazingly nice for the northern half of the state. Cullman, 75. Center, 76. Huntsville, 79. Birmingham at 80. Then we get back in the warm air over South Alabama. Mobile, 86. Dothan at 89. Very quiet day around the nation, with the exception of the Florida Peninsula, where they're basically all under either a hurricane warning or a tropical storm warning. Got a marginal risk of severe storms over the southern tip of Florida tonight. That's for the possibility of isolated tornadoes. And then tomorrow night, got the slight risk, level 2 out of 5. And again, this is for isolated tornadoes in the spiral bands wrapping around Milton. The higher tornado threat south of Interstate 4. And on day 3, which is Thursday, again, a marginal risk from near Melbourne down toward Miami. So rain, obviously the big numbers across the Florida Peninsula. For Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, nothing for the next 7 days. There's evidence there might be a shower Monday of next week with a front coming in, but it's going to be a moisture-starved front, and meaningful rain just not happening. So in the tropics, we have Leslie, which is a dying tropical storm in the middle of the Atlantic that will be dissipating within the next few days, far, far from land. Little feature that's around the Bahamas, the Hurricane Center giving that a 20% chance of developing over the next 7 days, but the little window for any development is small. That should be fizzling out soon. So, of course, again today, the focus is on Milton. And look at that again, the structure looking much better today compared to this morning. And based on Hurricane Hunter data, the sustained winds have increased again to 155 miles per hour. And the circulation center is about 520 miles southwest of Tampa, moving to the east-northeast at 8 miles per hour. And the central pressure, 923 millibars. And, of course, you can see that, again, the pinhole eye and the good symmetry. So after some structural changes and most likely an eye wall replacement cycle, the intensity is ramped up again. So really not much change in the forecast track. If anything, the Hurricane Center is showing a slower arrival time or a later arrival time. It would be maybe after midnight Wednesday night, after midnight tomorrow night, and maybe during the early morning hours Thursday when the thing comes in. And again, there's no change in thinking. This will be ingesting dry air and strong winds aloft, should bring the wind velocities down into the Category 3 range. And again, the Hurricane Center projecting this to be a 125-mile-per-hour hurricane at the time of landfall, which is still very dangerous. But as the wind velocity comes down a bit, the wind radius will increase. The hurricane basically doubling in size in terms of the radius of the hurricane force wind, the tropical storm force winds. So it's going to be a large hurricane with a very destructive storm surge. The Hurricane Center shifting the track a little to the south. And if that trend can continue, that's a really good thing for Tampa and St. Petersburg and Tampa Bay. You want to be on the north side of this. The north side is the good side. The bad side is the south side. That's the onshore flow side. But look at this. You can see in 48 hours, this thing is still expected to be producing 100-mile-per-hour winds near Orlando. People ask about Orlando. Well, they will basically experience hurricane conditions Thursday morning. And then it comes out into the Atlantic and then finally becomes post-tropical. In terms of the storm surge, really not much change in thinking. The storm surge around Tampa Bay and Point South, 10 to 15 feet. That's very destructive. That's going to be very, very problematic. And again, as the Hurricane Center is saying in their advisory, today is the last full day for Florida residents to get their families and homes ready and evacuate, if told to do so. And notice over on the east coast of Florida, there's going to be a minor surge from near Cape Canaveral up to Jacksonville and Savannah. The weather's going to be fine up the South Atlantic coast, but again, they could see a storm surge on the north side of the circulation. So let's go through modeling. Model fans, the GFS, the 12Z run, valid tomorrow afternoon at 4. Again, a big vortex over eastern Canada and New England. Alabama, a beautiful day. The day will be sunny. Highs will be, again, in the low to mid-80s. It'll be warm, but low humidity, and we'll start the day down in the upper 50s and low 60s. And obviously, the focus will be on Milton. So let's look at the various models. This is the GFS, and this is valid at 2 a.m. Thursday morning, after midnight tomorrow night. And again, you can see the GFS brings it in pretty much right over Tampa Bay. And again, remember, as you look at these maps, the big surge, that inundation, 10, 12, 15-foot inundation, will be along and south of the center of circulation here. So again, that's the GFS. European, a little farther to the south, a little south of Tampa Bay, which is a good thing for Tampa and St. Pete. But understand, you can't split hairs here. I mean, this thing is so close. Everybody in Tampa, St. Pete has to plan for the worst-case scenario. This is the NAM, by the way, North American Mesoscale model, and it's very similar. Basically, all of these models are clustered right at Tampa Bay. And these things tend to wobble a little bit. Maybe it'll wobble north. Maybe it'll wobble south. But certainly all those cities south of Tampa, this is going to be a brutal, brutal situation for places like Bradenton, Sarasota, and really all the way down to Port Charlotte, Fort Myers. They will see some huge storm surge inundation here. Very dangerous, very life-threatening storm. So on Thursday during the day, this is Thursday at 4 o'clock. Again, you can see the circulation of Milton moving into the Atlantic away from Florida. And then on Friday, system becoming post-tropical. And again, for Alabama, the weather's just nice. Highs upper 70s, low 80s, lows in the 50s. And the weekend's going to be just great. Saturday, Sunday, beautiful. Highs low to mid-80s, lows down in the 50s. We might see some 40s again early Saturday morning. Many spots could be in the 40s. Now, Monday, it's interesting to note there's a cold front dropping in. And this is suggesting there might be enough moisture for a couple of isolated showers across the northeastern corner of the state Monday. We're not going to mention that right now because we think the air is just too dry for rain. But that's a cold air mass. Look at the thickness values over the Great Lakes, the upper Midwest. Coldest easily so far this season. And a week from today, this is Tuesday the 15th, big ridge out west, a big trough in the east. And look at the thickness values coming down. Tuesday of next week, highs drop in the 60s, lows drop in the 40s. Hey, we might see some 30s over North Alabama by the middle of next week. Cold weather fans, your time is coming. Let's keep going. This is out 10 days, Friday, October the 18th. Upper low that's south of San Diego, upper low that's sitting on the North Carolina-Virginia border, and once again, we're dry and seasonal. Rain for Birmingham, European ensemble. For the next 15 days through October 23rd, just not much. I mean, that green line it's the mean. It barely gets off the flat line. And again, some of the members try to bring in a couple of inches, but the mean is what you're looking for. And again, just not much there. Temperatures, again, upper 80s or upper 70s and low 80s through Sunday. And then look at the numbers next week come down. Highs dropping in the 60s, lows well down in the 40s by the middle of next week. And let's see real quick if we can dig up a new 8 to 14 day outlook. See if we've got that in the house. And let's see. I do believe we do. All right. So let me drop that in here. We can watch it change together. And all of a sudden, we see blue. I see blue on that map. So this is for October 16th through October 22nd. Temperatures below average here across the Deep South, above average well to the north and west. And before we check on the hurricane again, let's roll that Children's of Alabama Kid Cam. I like a big crowd. We had a big one today at Ohatchee Elementary School, Calhoun County, gym full. Oh, yeah, you can get excited about learning about science. I like that cake. Their tribe respects that polygon, those Ohatchee Indians, and they know my snack of choice, Yoo-Hoos and Twinkies. I mean, come on. That's outstanding. But those kids were so good today. That is a great school, great leaders, administrative team, teachers, just an amazing place. So it's always great to be in Ohatchee. We talked about hurricanes, of course. We talked about convection, thunderstorms, tornadoes. Talked about how we forecast the weather, did some storm spotting. Kids love to learn science. So again, to all those great teachers and students at Ohatchee Elementary School in Calhoun County, thanks a lot for a great visit earlier today. You guys are looking good. Look at this thing. Wow. Again, it just rebounded amazingly well from the eye wall replacement cycle overnight last night and this morning. And again, for those just joining us, we're live at 2:48 here. Milton has sustained winds now at 155 miles per hour. And the pressure is sitting at 923 millibars, not nearly as low as yesterday, but still, that's a pretty impressive hurricane in the southern Gulf of Mexico. Landfall very close to Tampa Bay late tomorrow night during the early morning hours Thursday, pre-dawn hours. Again, this looks like it might come in at sometime between midnight and 6 a.m., early Thursday morning, late tomorrow night. And again, no change in the thinking. The sustained winds about 125 miles an hour at the time of landfall. That's a Category 3. But remember, the hurricane will be much larger in size. It's a fairly compact hurricane now. It'll be much bigger as it comes on shore. And again, the storm surge could be very destructive. Storm surge of 10, 12, 15 feet along and south of the landfall center. And again, an important thing to note here, notice how the hurricane is still producing 100 mile per hour sustained winds near Orlando during the day Thursday. So hurricane conditions are likely there, and it maintains hurricane strength all the way over to the east coast of Florida, Melbourne, Daytona Beach, places like that. So again, this is the kind of thing that could create widespread long-term power outages. Obviously, a very destructive storm surge. You would not want to be around for a while. It's going to take a while to recover from this, and we hope everybody is heeding those evacuation orders, and it seems like that is the case as we look at all the reports. So tomorrow I will be at Wilsonville Elementary School, which is in Shelby County, and then after that a big homeschool group in Chelsea. And then on Thursday, I've got Miles Jewish Day School in Birmingham, and then God's House Kindergarten at Altadena Valley Presbyterian Church in Birmingham. Friday, Carbon Hill Elementary School in Walker County. And that will be a whole lot of fun. And again, we have no book signing this week. For those that are new here, I do weather support at the University of Alabama. I have to be at all the home games. So Alabama plays South Carolina at home, and that is an early kickoff, 11 o'clock. So that'll be an early morning there in Tuscaloosa. But that's it for this afternoon. If you're new here, we do these videos twice a day. We're live 2 times a day, not just during hurricanes, but every weekday. The first live early in the morning, about 5:15 Central, and then about 2:45 in the afternoon Central. And we simulcast it on this YouTube channel and this Facebook page. We're glad you're here, and don't forget to join us on the TV side, right across the hall in Studio A, ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.